Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Monday the 25th of April comes to you from Mallorca in Spain. I've been down here for a few days and looking at markets, still a lot of red on the screen this morning, and the big news really was the French election. That hasn't really helped the euro. We're down nearly 1% this morning. We're down 2/3%, and the euro is very much in this downtrend with downside targets yet to be fulfilled. So whilst there's some relief that Le Pen didn't get in, the fact is the euro is still looking very weak. That means, of course, then the dollar is looking stronger. If we look at that dollar strength, it continues rising stronger, and if we look at dollar against the yen, we are actually a bit lower here, but again this chart is stratospheric. So dollar strength is really benefiting from most other currencies being weak, and sterling has really fallen against that dollar in the last few days. And we see now below the 130 level, so bearish there as well. And against the euro, also weaker, so quite interesting there, although the long-term trend is still bullish. Looking at Bitcoin, we are back below the 40,000 mark, so not great here, just on this cloud support. The key thing is we're really testing this sort of this range that we're trading in, and we are just at risk. Got to watch that we really hold these lows that we saw in February and January, so keep an eye on that. The S&P 500 index on Friday had a big sell-off, down 2.7%. Really clear. We touched the cloud and then fell away on that medium-term chart. Remembering this is my long-term, medium-term and short-term view, weekly, daily and 60-minute charts with the corresponding point and figure targets. We've been saying for a long time that equity markets look set to fulfill these downside targets. So that's really what's happening. And even worse for the NASDAQ, we see here, and we'll look at some of the NASDAQ stocks reporting this week, but tech is looking really vulnerable now. The futures are down a further this morning, down about 0.8% both on the S&P and on the NASDAQ, so markets will open lower still. The FTSE futures down just under 2%. The DAX in Germany down just under 2% as well, despite that French election result. And even in Paris, the CAC 40 down just under 2%. So again, whilst the markets might be relieved that Le Pen didn't get in, the fact is we're still falling away. Japan was down 1.4%, and the Hang Seng down a massive 4%, and Chinese stocks down 5%. Huge move there to the downside. So we're really starting to see some capitulation on some of these indices now. India down 1.3%. Hard to see how stocks will make new highs. The Aussie market didn't trade overnight. It's Anzac Day there, and so the market was closed for the Anzac Day holiday, remembering Australian and New Zealand soldiers from the First and Second World Wars. So looking at the energy mix, we see that's heavily down as well. We'll take a look at that in a minute. A lot of other commodities falling, wheat down. We're very much in a sell everything environment today. Even gold is down at 1917. Back to test this 1900 level, so looking quite weak there, and the same with silver, down 1.5%. Even 10-year yields are falling back. So in the US, we see that we're sitting at 2.81%, having nudged 3 last week. So quite interesting. Looking at Apple, they're reporting this week. They didn't have a very good day on Friday, making new short-term lows there. This 150 level is now critical for Apple, and we can see that in the chart as well. Of course, we've got the downside target hanging over. Amazon also reporting this week. Expect to hear warnings on supply chain issues, which will probably dent the stock, and we're on the verge of going into a long-term downtrend. Hard to believe with Amazon doing so well, but that's what the chart is saying. And Microsoft being another chart that's been amazing over the last 2 years, more than doubling, reporting again, and the pattern here looking toppy as well, making new lows on Friday. So expect disappointment from the big three this week. Looking at the energy mix today, we've got Brent crude has been down 4%. The $100 mark there is really quite important. US gas prices down 2.4%. and we've got some new 1 minute targets just emerging this morning, so that's looking more bearish than we'd forecast earlier. And looking at emissions, we're down 2.6%. We were neutral here. We had this downside target. That's now being played out, so that's not looking good either. We do have gas prices up. TTF up nearly $3, 3.5%, up 3.4 euros. So looking a bit stronger there. MBP not showing such a rise, only up 0.5%. That's increasing the divergence between these two, and that's something we have highlighted. German power is pulling back slightly this morning, but the trend is still very, very up. So all in all, markets looking very much ripe for further sell-offs today and this week. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, I'm in Mallorca and then back in London. Happy charting. See you then.